Hi everyone, it's Crafty Kara. Sorry it's been so long. I want to say that I think the last update that I posted was probably in November of last year, so I do apologize. I've been a little busy. I have had baby number 4 and things have definitely changed around here. I am now a stay-at-home mom. And so I do get a little bit more time to crafting. However, I don't have time to make videos. Right now my son is kind of napping, so this is the only way I'm able to make this video. He's now 8 months old. See, that's how much time has flown by. So let me just go ahead and get into it, what I've been able to do. When he was a baby, I was able to stitch a lot because I was nursing at night and I was up at all hours, and so I got quite a bit done. So from the last time I think you saw me, I was working on Noah's Ark, and I got it complete, and of course FFO. So here this is. I do apologize about any glare. I'll do the best I can. This turned out really well. I think about the time I went to the hospital, I think I had only about this much done. And so within about a month, I was able to complete all of this. So I was quite happy, and just put it in an 11 by 14 frame. Awesome news is I sent this to the state fair, and it won an honorable mention. So that was a lot of fun. The first time entering anything into the state fair, I sent 6 pieces, and 3 of them came home with ribbons. So, and the other one was Snow White. Now, I think the qualifications was either 2 or 3 years the projects could be old. And so I reframed Snow White. Goodness, you can hardly see her. I reframed her in a mat called Butter. And wasn't my first choice, but I think it really brings out the nice warm colors in her. This is a 16 by 20 frame, and she won an honorable mention as well at the fair. See, I have it sitting right there. I haven't figured out what to do with them yet. But I was very, very happy that she came home with the ribbon, because she was the main inspiration of sending things to the fair. I also completed in January a small little finish from one of those many 2015 sales that I was trying to do. And I think I only had about like this part done here, and I got all of that done within a couple weeks. And I really like how this is done. This is a Glory and Pat pattern. I know I've talked about it in other videos, but I finished just kind of in memory of my grandmother. She had books like this, so it's kind of next to her picture. So that I sent to the fair just for fun. Oh, what else did I say? Oh, I sent Star Trek to the fair. I know you've seen it if you've watched my videos. That was the only sci-fi thing there, so that was kind of nice. What else did I send? Oh, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. What was the 5th? My mind just went blank. Oh, Rose, duh. Okay, so Rose, the memorabilia that I stitched during the sale last year, and then I gifted to my sister, I sent that as well, and gave it back to her, of course. And then this piece I sent to the fair. It's a Trail Creek Farm pattern called A Most Happy Home. I liked it because it had a lot of bright colors, and it had these 2 little charms, a little bunny charm and a butterfly charm, and those were fun to learn how to put on and secure, because I made sure he'd go nowhere. And it won 4th place. I was so happy with that. I did not expect that. This was seriously a last minute thing. I did this like 2 weeks before the fair, because I think it was a Saturday afternoon, and I said, you know what, I want to do something today, and I wasn't quite in the mood to stitch or something. I don't know. But then I pulled this out because it had been finished for a couple months, and I just wrapped it around a piece of cereal box, believe it or not, and then put some felt on the back. And then I had this little parachute cord, which actually really did match the glare. I mean, like, the color is probably not so good, but it matched the pink that was in there. And again, it was 4th place, so quite happy. Again, like 6 pieces into the fair and 3 came home with ribbons. Can't complain. I'll just try to go through these things as quickly as I can. Also, sometime, I want to say it was early spring, I did a Bucilla handmade Charlotte kit. Sorry, the glare is awful. Okay. Or it's just washing everything out. But I didn't do it as it kind of asked like that. Just doing it. And this is how it turned out. I just wanted to have some, I don't know, more coverage of things in there and just do some more different colors that were in the kit. And then this hangs in my car on the rearview mirror. So I completed that. That's what happens when you try to do things in a hurry. After that, I started another kit that was from the cross stitcher, and I don't know where the little package is. I just did my 9-year-old birthday party and stuff got moved. But it's from the cross stitcher magazine, and it was, I don't know, from at least a year or so ago. And it had this little kit of this little cottage keychain you can stitch. And so you stitch the front, and you can put your little house number on there. And then you stitch the back. And then you sew them together, and it came with this piece and the little keychain. And ta-da! Little keychain. Excuse me. Maybe that's better. It's a little dark over here, but I think that, yeah, that looks better. Okay, so those are my little kits. Let me show you the one I'm working on now, because these are my on-the-go in the car while I'm waiting on the kids. And okay, this just now got done because since summer happened, and I'm not in the car waiting on somebody. I usually stitch this while I'm in the school pickup line for the kids. So now I have moved on to another cross stitcher kit. They're just really nice to take because you do have a lot of stuff with you. These little gift tags. I thought this was a good time to start working on stuff for Christmas. And of course I'm not going to show you the pattern, but all I do, since those patterns are in the book, I take just a paper copy of the pattern out of the magazine and I tuck it inside here so I always have it with me. And I don't have to damage the magazine. And of course I carry a lot of my car kits in like a 4x6 little photo box. And so these are turning out because they're going to fit 4 on here, and you can cut them out and make little gift tags. And I just started that the other day, but it's fun. I like that. Okay, try to get the smalls out of the way. I still keep track of my stuff in a planner. Sorry about that. But I used to keep one just for stitching, but you know, life's too crazy. Don't have time for that now. So I do keep everything in one. I try to at least write it down in here of when I start things, because everything's in here. This is the only way I know things happen. So when I talked about January, I also did the Ronald McDonald sale in March for the Ronald McDonald house. And that, of course, already been gifted. It was to the Fort Wayne one. That was just really fun to stitch for charity, and I would like to do that again. I have not really worked on, or not that much, but I don't know where it is. I think I set it down somewhere else on Storytime Sampler. I am on Phantom of the Opera, so I still have 4 more to go. I need to be doing that. Wait, did those? Excuse me, sorry. I had to start. I didn't want to start anything, honestly, because I knew that I have so much to work on. Like I was glad I had a lot of completed. I got Gnomes finished. I got Noah's Ark finished. There's a couple other small things I did. What else? Most Happy Home I finished. I did a little sock monkey thing for my niece. And I did some teacher gifts. Oh, I did some teacher gifts in April. I did them in April. And gifted them in May because I think like Teacher's Day is like the first Tuesday in May, and I gifted those, and those turned out really well. If I can't remember if I posted on Instagram. If I haven't, I will try. If not, my Facebook. If some of you know my Facebook is, otherwise I will find a way to show you. Teacher gifts. So I had to start, like I was saying. I apologize. I'm trying to get through this as quickly as possible because why he's still sleeping. I started kitting up a bunch of things, which I still have. Is it? Yes. Okay, I'm excited. Sorry. I'm going to just do just a little bit there. Okay. And I think while I was kitting it up, I just had the itch to start. So I started to save the stitches. And the reason it took me so long is because I couldn't decide the color or what I was going to do, because I see so many of you stitching it in different colors. Sorry. Is it better? Yeah, sorry. The color went really bad. So I decided to do in purple. Goodness. Which is 327. It's just a nice rich purple, and I'm attempting, I will attempt, I know a lot of you complain about the DMC color or metallics, but I'm going to try to use, I think I'm using most of the recommended DMC, but just in case, I'm using gold 3821, copper 301, and I think it's either pewter or silver 168, all with the E's in front. And I will probably use some beads, haven't decided. But it's going to be smaller. I am doing it on 36 count. Even weave, antique white. It came in, like, has two shades. You probably can't see. Oh, there's a slightly more cream and white, and I chose the whiter side. But either one probably would have looked really nice. But I just did a little bit. I think I got most of the outline of the first blocks. And there's that. Oh, and of course, a little needle minder I made. I don't know if I've ever shown that one. So crazy. And it is to start projects when you have so many more to do. And I am using the pearl, number 12 pearl cotton. There it is. And that's all in this little bag ready to go. Like I said, I need to complete more projects before I work on that. I would say full-time or heavily, but again, nice little, just throw that down to the side. Speaking of other kits, and again, I'm so random. Sorry, guys. Okay, probably because I'm shaking the table. I have some more kitted up and decided I want to do Box of Delights, and finally decided on some things like that. So I have 32 count linen from MCG Textiles, and it's large enough, and I will be doing it in the multicolor there, and that just sounds like a lot of fun. Can't wait. And then Pandora's Box. Of course, you ran into Pandora's Box, and wow. And I love the colors, and I ordered the color, I ordered the color that was recommended in this one, and I haven't decided yet. But I love them. They're free patterns. Like, that just makes it more fun to stitch, I think, when things are free. One other project that I started and I haven't finished and won't finish probably for a while was the Star Trek book. I don't know if I ever showed you that. Probably not. I think I got this earlier this year. I can't remember. But there's a lot of neat stuff in here. I mean, if I haven't said this before, I'm a Star Trek fan by marriage. My husband loves it, and I enjoy it. But the patterns that are in this book are so darn adorable and fun looking to stitch that I would probably, if I had the time, if I didn't have a million other projects to do, I would probably stitch everything in this book. But the one I was working on, my son was wearing 0 to 3 months, way into 4 months old, and so I thought, okay, he'll be in 3 to 6 probably for just a little bit, so I'll stitch that size next. Within a month, he grew out of 0 to 3 and passed 3 to 6 and into 6 to 9. There you go. But this is what I was going to stitch. A little onesie of the next generation. And this is what I had so far. I had the top half. I was nearly halfway done. So with some soluble canvas, just on a simple onesie, and the two colors that I chose. Didn't like the two that they had. They just didn't contrast. I mean, there's too much contrast between the blues. I chose some that were a little bit more natural looking together. But I will have to find a bigger size and then maybe sell that one later. What's next? during February, there was a bunch of Instagram things going on, and so I was trying to keep up with those. That was fun. And so I did start another project because of that. But I started something small. This one, Grandparents Touch a Heart. The original idea was I was going to change these little sayings to the 6 grandchildren my mother had, but then I had her 7th. So we're just going to be adding whatever, the original chart. And that's what I have so far. I worked on this during the month of February, and then occasionally throughout. It's a really fast stitch. So there's only hearts here and there, and then some fewer sayings. If I set down full time for a day or two, it'll be done. And that will be gifted sometime in the future. No rush. While I'm in here, I have another kit that my sister bought for me. It was, she kept saying she saw this, and I never saw it. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She bought it for me, and then she said, oh, here it is. And I was like, oh, well, that's needlepoint. She loves dragonflies, so I told her I would do my best to attempt to do needlepoint. Of course, it's on mesh, and I've got it tangled in something else here. Sorry. Okay, there. I don't know if you can see. You can kind of see what I've done. Just kind of right through here. It is a different mindset. That's all I can say. It's not too bad to stitch with. You are stitching with the entire 6 strands of floss, which is okay. And then you're doing a longer stitch on the back, so there's no shortcuts. You just have to take the longer way. And this also wasn't printed properly. It's out of alignment. It's from here to here. It's off by 2 stitches. So what I'm doing is extending. Oh, sorry, you can't see. I'm extending the stitches from here, whatever that is, a stitch or 2 out, the same color. So just kind of extending the picture, because I don't want to cut anything off, and since you have to use a pattern like this with all the colors, and that's sideways, but it doesn't really matter. It is, I don't know, it's just harder for me to follow, because you have to be in a different set of mind, I think, to do needlepoint. So I just have to be prepared for that instead of just picking it up whenever. But I will work on that for her. And you guys keep sliding, and I am so sorry. And I think Pinocchio's left. No, I have something else I want to show you. So I told you about the state fair. I also try to get back into, allergies, and of course when you film, things start itching. Excuse me. Okay. I wanted to get back into sewing. So I bought a kit from Joann's where you bought 3 stages. You bought like the blocks, and then you bought the appliques, and then you buy the back piece, and then stitch it all together. So I decided to stitch this blanket up for my son. I love these colors. It comes in these different shades of teal. Oh, sorry. And I'll try to show you here. So I don't have a lot of room behind me. But I love the colors. I love the little animals because I kind of like the elephant thing right now. So I'll just roll this up. So the appliques, you'll see 2 elephants. Sorry for the muffly sound here. 2 elephants, a bird, and then a giraffe at the top. This was fun. I was glad to have something to start sewing again. I hadn't sewn a lot since I was in 4-H, so that was a while ago. But simple stitching, putting things together, just reminding myself, and also getting more familiar with my sewing machine. It was gifted to me from my in-law who didn't need it and couldn't find a power cord, so I just bought a power cord for it, and it works really well. And I also did zigzag, a nice tight zigzag around the appliques. And it's not the prettiest, But for not really messing with sewing for years, I say that looks pretty darn good. It is my son's blanket, however, it's not going to be a blanket he's just going to have full access to. It's kind of a memory blanket. I'll probably let him sleep on it a little bit here and there. But so yeah, I'm trying to do other crafts as well. Sorry. So let me show you Pinocchio, because that's really what I've been working on all summer. Really all summer, and what are we? We're in September now. Gosh. So this is what he will look like. I think when I last showed you, I only had a small part right around here done. That was last year, guys. Over a year ago. So here's what it looks like. So I have more than a quarter of it done. And I love this. Especially since I got up out of the blues of the mountains, which are really pretty, don't get me wrong. I got into more colors over here with the fairy. And then come over to this part. Because to not go, I don't know, many different directions. Of course, I start in the middle, which was, I think, right around here. Okay. And I stitch this section, and then so I go up because that way I can hit the edge. And I just naturally go out to the corner, and then I work my way down. So I'm going to be doing this part and this part before I move over to the other side. And getting to stitch Pinocchio, really, and then add more color to it, because you have the reds and more of the yellows. Do it this way. And Jimmy Cricket was fun to stitch. Now, this part here drove me crazy. I'm still kind of working on it. So I have, I don't know, probably at least, kind of looking at it, maybe 500 stitches approximately right through here to stitch. There's that and some of those graphs. But this, I mean, this is all confetti throughout here. I mean, this will look amazing when I do the back stitch, but it drove me crazy. Because I can't tell you how many times I missed a color because they're like quarter stitches everywhere. But it will look really nice when it's done. I've been working on that again, like I would say full time. And I really wanted to be done with that part before September. But oh well. Progress is progress. Oh. See, I knew there's another sewing project I wanted to show you. I don't know where. There they are. Also, around June, my oldest son, lost his 2 front teeth. And he didn't have a pillow, a tooth fairy pillow. My oldest daughter did. Can't find it, which is fine. Because most tooth fairy pillows look more girly. So I was like, okay, we're going to look online and we're going to find how to make you a tooth fairy pillow. And I found this really simple pillow online. I was like, I can do that. And so within a day, looking this up, going to Hobby Lobby, spending, let's see, $1, $2, $3, $4, maybe $6 total in supplies. Total. I made some tooth fairy pillows. So these just make me smile. They're so cute. This is just felt. And these little buttons I found with the other buttons, and I wanted to get some funny eyes, and so they're on there, of course, cockeyed is what I call. Some white felt that I cut in the shape of teeth. Cut one off. And it just gets sewn inside. This is the pocket. There. So his tooth will go in there, and then the tooth fairy will come and take that out, and then stick any of her, whatever she leaves, money or a prize or something inside. But I thought that was cute. So for my youngest son, even though he did have teeth by the time we made this, I need to trim these up a little nicer. His is yellow. And again, same concept, just a different shape. Slightly. Because I just kind of made them up as I went. And these were so easy. I mean, there's no rhyme or I mean, I wouldn't say not rhyme or reason. It was so easy. This drives me crazy. It was just, you grab a couple pieces of felt, and as I'm trimming, just drives me nuts, sorry. Couple pieces that are the size of the pillow you want, and then grab another piece that's going to be the pocket, sew the teeth onto that, and then turn your right sides together and sew it up. And then I stitched his little eyeballs on there, stuffed them up real good, and he's done. So I decided to go ahead and make some for the girls, but they didn't want monsters, and that's totally fine. So they picked out their own. Lost it. Sorry, forgive me. Okay, they picked out their own little felt. So they picked out my youngest picked out polka dots, and of course my oldest picked out cheetah. So I did this to the fronts. Of course, all my children start with E. So I wanted to make them different. That's why they chose a different color of for the pillows. And the tooth is a pocket, of course. And again, I saw this online. I thought I could do that. I cut out an E. I have a nice little stencil, so I cut out an E on felt very carefully, and I did a blanket stitch around that one. I did glue it on with some fabric glue, and then a blanket stitched around it to secure it. And then I cut this tooth out, and then hand stitched a running, like back stitch or running stitch, whatever you want to call it, all the way around from here to here. And these little buttons I bought a while ago, but they're perfect little eyeballs. I thought if I had a project that I didn't want to do, I don't know, needed a simple eyeball, I thought those were nice. And then there's like a little tiny 3 stitches for a mouth. And voila. So again, tooth fairy, I mean the kids put the pillow or the tooth in there, and then the tooth fairy will reach in there and do that. And the same concept on his one. So that, again, another sewing project, but it was fun. It was perfect for a day, and all I can say is with being a stay-at-home mom, what I need to feel accomplished for the day is having about, I don't know, half an hour or so to myself. Not, I guess, not by myself, but just to myself. If the kids are watching TV or playing outside, that I had half an hour to sit down and do something for me. Sometimes it was during the day, most of the time it was during the night. Until the baby slept through the night, which, I mean, he did big chunks. Like, he would sleep until 4, wake up, one be fed, and he'll go right back to sleep. But I think about June, he started sleeping through the night. Like, you put him down at 10 o'clock and he sleeps until 7, 8 in the morning. So I was up at night sometimes, and that's when I felt comfortable stitching. And, you know, it was quiet time where you get to stop and think. And that was my, sanity time. And I miss YouTube. For sure, excuse me. I miss watching everybody's videos, which I'm trying to catch up. So hard because I know with Stitch Mania that happened in May, there's a ton more people who are doing it, and even since I've been doing YouTube, there are a ton more people who are a part of FlossTube, and trying to find you without losing my mind of catching up on everybody else has been interesting. What else? There was something else. I showed you Pinocchio. Oh, I know, I was going to tell you. The other thing that keeps me busy was crafting other crafts, so like paper crafts. My son had a birthday in June, and since it was kind of the end of summer into school, I mean not end of summer, beginning of summer into school, it was kind of a little bit of a bigger celebration, and we did Mario. We were talking about video games, and I said, hey, Mario's got lots of colors, and I think that's pretty accessible theme. He said, okay. So I I full on research what we want to do and try to just have fun with it. And if you're interested, I will find a way to post pictures of what I did for his birthday. I mean, I got some of these ideas off online, but I added some of my own touches. I mean, what I like to do for their parties is to be budget friendly, but be able to be creative as possible to let them remember that birthday. Just a hint, like with the table I'm sitting on, or sitting at, we put a backdrop up and made the whole wall look like one of the original Mario levels. Scrapbook paper bricks, and we made those little, oh goodness, I forget the name, I had to look it up, those little flowers that come up out of the pipes and, you know, try to bite you. His cake, which is, I can overcomplicate things very, very easily if I let myself, but I try to scale back and think about simplicity and what time I have to do things. And so his birthday cake could have been many different things, but we simplified it into a round cake that was going to look like one of the green mushrooms that gets him 1 up, because he was 1 year older, so he actually was 7. So we made the green mushroom like for the extra lives, and then I just kind of cut off a little bit on the side to make it look more like a mushroom. Turned out really, really well. And we had fruit and vegetables out that shaped like the power flower. I mean, like I said, it makes my day to make those little things that hopefully will make things more memorable for them when they're older. I do the same thing for the girls. We just did bubble guppies and Shopkins. But those were a little bit more in a tighter budget. But even in the past, I mean, I'd be more than happy to show what I've done if you guys are interested. Again, I do the cake. I use a recipe off of Pinterest that modifies the cake mix. There's a box cake mix to make it really nice and dense, easy to stack. I try to do some neat food ideas, and the decorations. I try to do as many homemade as I possibly can, because a lot of the ideas my children have had lately are just off of what's trending. Excuse me. And Mario is popular, but it's not what's trending. It is not what you can just go right to the store right now and just buy everything for. Not always. And plus, we used to have a Party City in town, but it left. So the closest Party City is 20-25 minutes away. And I can't just go out there and buy all those supplies, and sometimes they're really expensive. So again, when I can save money, then I can spend more money on the kids. And just make things more memorable. I think I've covered everything that's been kind of going on as much as I could. Again, I apologize. It's been so long, but I appreciate any of you who are sticking with me and catching up with me now. Yeah, I mean, now that the kids are back in school, I think things will be a little easier, because now I will have a little quiet time, because kids go to school. Youngest daughter goes to preschool. I have a couple hours, I won't say to myself, but home with him. Then I go pick her up, come home for 3 more hours, and then I go pick up the other 2. And then my husband works at a factory, so he's doing like a 12-hour shift rotation. So he works a couple days off for a couple days, which right now really works for the family. And we were struggling earlier this year, and I think that what's made it harder too to watch YouTube when things are tough and you can't spend money because you don't really have a lot. It's sometimes hard to see everybody building their stash. So I found it easier just to step back and stay away from Facebook and YouTube. But you know, I still don't have a lot of extra spending money, to spend, but I mean, I have a lot. I mean, you see, I have now 10 boxes of stuff for DMC that I have sorted. The entire set comes to here. I think I have just about every color but like 2 or 3. And then I have metallics and the variations. Of course, old magazines, different charts, more books and magazines. I have now a subscription to World of Cross Stitching, as well as I just recently signed up for Cross Stitch on Needlework magazine, which is a U.S. magazine. And I'm really happy to have a subscription, make sure I cover that, to a U.S. magazine. I have nothing, trust me, I love the UK, but I don't like just cross stitch. There's not as much in there that excites me. And as I mentioned in previous videos, there's not as many patterns, and they're all big. And when you're getting a magazine every month, you don't have time to complete a huge pattern and still enjoy all these magazines. So I have this, and they have this. They have a little bit more of a variety of sizes in this, and some different styles, because I find that that's important too. That some magazines will have just one kind of style, but I like this. And this is only, in the U.S., this is only $20 for a whole year. Now they just recently, I think this year, last year, went down to, they used to do every other month. Now they do it once a quarter. So you get 4 magazines every year. So when you think about it, it's $5 for a magazine. It's not too bad. And it's nice full color, and I enjoy that a lot. Before I think I'm going to ramble, I'm just kind of looking to see if there's anything else. Oh, my sister. I'll tell you this real quick while I have a minute, I think, if I can find them. Maybe before I lose stuff. I mentioned before, excuse me, that my sister was kind of going through a rough divorce. Which led to issues with the children and blah blah blah. And when the divorce was finalized, she lost a lot of her possessions, and some of them were the cross stitches that I made for the children and their birth records. I made all my children's birth records, and I made all of hers. And she has her daughters. That was one that somehow made it up here safely in her hands. The others were in his possession, and Lord knows what happens to those. What he's done with them, I don't know. I don't know if I have that. I don't know. The other one for her youngest son is, I still have the pattern for that, and I still have some of the threads, so I could either match or somehow substitute some threads and just redo that one. But then we didn't have the other, and this was a time when I was stitching and didn't pay attention to what I was stitching. I just bought something I liked, stitched it, and the pattern would disappear. So looking at pictures, we finally found this one that I stitched for her. It's called Frame and Name. I can't remember where I found it. Possibly Hobby Lobby. But I liked it because you can stitch the name, you can place 2 photos, or you can stitch this part, which I did. So I had his name here and that, and I think I didn't buy a blue frame. I think I put it in a white frame. I can't remember. But we're going to stitch that again. Comes with well, it's sort of floss, but really they're not that hard. There's not that many colors. And it's so cute. It comes with this little mat. So we bought that so I can work on that again for her. And then quickly, because I know I'm already hitting 40 minutes, and I felt like I've talked about nothing. There is this kit here. I have looked for this for a really long time. long story short, when we were children, we had a babysitter, especially during the summers and during breaks when there really wasn't any after-school programs to watch while my mom worked, and because my dad was on the road a lot. So our babysitter, she was doing some cross-stitching, and this, what size is it? I want to say it's 11 by 14. Yeah, it's 11 by 14. And the designer, does it say it on here? Oh, Linda Gillum. And I remember bits and pieces of this because, you know, when you're a child, you remember just certain things that grab your attention. She had most of this done. I can't remember what part she didn't have done. I want to say something along the frame. And she passed away after we had grown. But my sister was still really close with her because she was younger and just kind of attached more to her. And so the family went ahead and gave us this because they knew that she liked it a lot. And so she turned it into a pillow, even if it was unfinished. And it was really well loved with her and her children. And it kind of fell apart. But see, again, not knowing what company made this, who designed it, I had no idea where to start. And I looked all over. Well, one day I borrowed a book from the library and flipped through designs. And I said, wait a minute, that design looks so familiar. It looks so much like that, but I knew something wasn't right. I looked up the artist, looked her up online, and found more. There was different patterns with the same kind of idea. And I was like, hey. And I finally found this online. And I bought this for her, and I said, you know, with other things I'm doing, I can't do it right away, but I said, I will promise to stitch this for you someday so she can have it again, because it meant a lot to her. So it was kind of nice to hunt that down. But, yeah, sorry, I don't want to end it on a note like that. But, again, thank you for watching. Thanks for, like I said, keeping up with me. I'm trying to stay busy. I'm not as active on Facebook. I do try to look at everybody's photos that I can find. I try to stay, I wouldn't say active. I try to stay interested on not Pinterest, Instagram. That's what it is. Stay, well, not kind of see what everybody's doing, because now that I'm catching up on videos, I'm like, oh yeah, I seen that. I saw that they were working on that, or this and that, and blogs. And that's the other idea. I'm gonna throw around the idea of doing video and then a small blog, because as others have mentioned, it's a lot easier when you don't have to stop and make a video. I can type and put up pictures, because I do take more pictures now of things and would like to document them maybe in a different way. So you guys have any questions, please put those below. But thank you, and I'm so glad to be back, and hopefully I can make a few more of these videos now that the children are in school. But I hope everybody has a really wonderful stitchy day, and just have fun with whatever you do. Have fun. See you next time.